What is up, YouTube? It's your boy The Walk 71, replaced with a 4, and I'm here with another wrestling review for you all. This one being WWE Clash of Champions 2020 with the tagline Gold Rush. So I guess it's Clash of Champions Gold Rush. Basically, the gimmick of this pay-per-view is that every title has to be defended, even though they do this on every pay-per-view. Every title must be defended. Every match is a championship match. And by how many titles we have on the main roster, this was going to be a long pay-per-view. But anyways, wow, that main event and that ladder match are going to be the two things I remember from this pay-per-view. Everything else is just kind of due to something happening, which I still don't know what, why, or how. But Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, and Nikki Cross were announced to not be medically cleared before the pay-per-view started. And this was also like a thing going around on the interwebs as well about Nikki Cross not being at SmackDown. She wasn't even featured on the Go Home show. And they said she wasn't even backstage. And they had announced earlier that she wasn't going to compete, so they just kind of made something up, which kind of hurt the pay-per-view, in my opinion, because then it just made them just drag everything so that they can meet a certain time quota, which, like, it doesn't matter because the pay-per-view is going to do what it do. It doesn't matter if you try to have it closed by 9, 10 o'clock. It didn't matter. You could have, I don't even know, you could have just took, like, the match that was on the pre-show, put it on the main pay-per-view, and then that would have kind of cut down on them dragging everything, because there was so many moments, especially in the WWE Championship match. Just different segments all throughout the night and like different parts of matches. They do stuff they normally don't ever do on pay-per-views for the sake of dragging time. But anyways, let's get into it. For the pre-show, it was originally scheduled to be Asuka versus Zelina Vega. I know, crazy. Asuka. It was supposed to be them, but instead it was a tag team title match on the SmackDown brand. We have the Lucha House Party, which was Kalisto and Lince Dorado this time, versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. This match was cool pre-show match. I mean, it's nothing better that we haven't already seen on SmackDown at some point between these two teams, because they've pretty much been feuding for forever, it seems. Cool match. I mean, you know, most of it was hot tags and whatnot. We get towards the end of the match. Lince Dorado gets thrown into the quote-unquote crowd. You know, the LED screens where they have the crowds, the like crowd videos and whatnot. And then Cesaro goes for the swing on Kalisto, and Shinsuke Nakamura hits a Kinshasa in the middle of the swing. And I guess that's their new tag team finisher. It actually looks pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. So Shinsuke and Cesaro end up retaining the SmackDown Tag Team titles. A pretty little standard match, I mean. And it seems like they're also trying to tease some type of dissension within the Lucha House Party with Kalisto and Lince especially. So I guess we'll see where that goes, I guess, in the near future. Yeah, just a lot of like tension being built up. I guess they might break off Lucha House Party or turn Kalisto heel, maybe have him have another singles run. Who knows? So after that, we ended up opening up the pay-per-view with one of the matches I was actually looking forward to, just because it's a ladder match. That's like one of my favorite matches ever. A winner-takes-all ladder match for the undisputed WWE Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy. Triple threat match. Match was actually good. It just, once I understood why, I understand, but this match went on long. Like, it was exciting seeing all these spots and spot fests and whatnot, because that's pretty much what ladder matches are at this point in this generation, I guess. I mean, there was spots in other ones, but this seemed like this was spots on spots on spots. And what made it worse is, like, yeah, they got the virtual crowd now, but they still don't have a real crowd. So they're essentially just doing this in front of nobody. Like, you can see the people's faces and stuff, but it's not the same as them being there and getting their real raw, you know, reaction essentially. So when it came down to this match, it was a lot of spot fests, for sure. It's a ladder match. Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, Sammy, they're gonna do that. Jeff Hardy was literally trying to kill himself. I remember he took a spot where he just went in, you know, was it? I don't even know the best way to describe it. The in-between of the ladders, I guess the whatever. Jeff Hardy decided to just go through it because why not? There's a lot of stuff. There was one cool spot where AJ did his phenomenal like reverse DDT off of the announce table onto Sami Zayn onto the ground. I thought that was pretty cool. AJ tried to go for a phenomenal form at one point, and Jeff Hardy pushed the ladder, and Sami Zayn jumped off and hit AJ with the ladder. I thought that was pretty cool. He like intercepted it basically. After that, we got another ladder spot where we bridged the ladder, because now we do this in every ladder match it seems, where we, except for the Money in the Bank, that's the exception, because that's the exception. That was like a cinematic match. People got thrown off the roof instead. So this one, there was a ladder bridge, so you already know Jeff Hardy's gonna do something, and he did. He ended up doing a swanton bomb off of a ladder onto Sami Zayn through a ladder. So that was pretty cool. So Sami Zayn's just selling death over there by the announce table. So it just comes down to Jeff and AJ fighting it out, trying to get, to climb the ladder to get the championships. But instead, Sami Zayn gets involved, and he knocks everybody off, goes at Jeff Hardy. He has handcuffs. He has 2 handcuffs, one for AJ, one for Jeff. He actually does something really crazy. He takes Jeff's earlobe piercing or whatever. He puts the one side of the handcuff through that, lock that. Then he connected the other one to a ladder. So basically Jeff Hardy has a ladder connected to his ear, so that like immobilizes him. It's pretty smart. I've actually never seen somebody do this in a ladder match where they handcuff their opponents. That's actually like something I would do, maybe, where I would just try to handcuff my opponent so they can't go nowhere, and I could just climb the ladder and win the match. And then once he got to AJ, he put one handcuff on him, and I guess he was gonna do it to the ring rope, but they ended up fighting it out again, fighting on a ladder. What ended up happening was that Sami Zayn ended up connecting it to his the other side to his wrist, and then basically he said, "You're not going nowhere without me." So Sami Zayn ends up getting taken out by AJ. So then AJ decides to climb the ladder with Sami Zayn on his shoulders, and while that's happening, Jeff Hardy brought the ladder with him that was still connected to his ear, so he was holding it on his shoulder basically. And what Sami Zayn did was he actually had the key, so he was able to unlock himself out of the out of the handcuff. Once he was able to do that, AJ was taken out, and then they both ended up off the ladder. But Sami Zayn ended up taking out both men and gave him enough to be able to climb the ladder. He was able to climb the ladder and grab the Intercontinental Championships, and I thought that was actually a very raw finish. I actually enjoyed that finish to the match. The match was great. It was just a lot of, high spots and whatnot, but, that's ladder matches, especially in modern WWE today. But overall, it was pretty cool, though, to, see all that transpire. Gave them a lot of freaking time because, they have to extend everything now because, 2 women's title matches are completely out of the window, which we still don't know why. But anyways, Sami Zayn is officially the new undisputed Intercontinental Champion. I wonder how long they're gonna drag that out before they just call him the Intercontinental Champion. They'll probably just go back to calling him that next week, the Intercontinental Champion. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. I enjoyed it for the most part. It was a cool little ladder match. Then after that, we got the Raw Women's Championship. Zelina Vega versus Asuka. This match was okay. I mean, it seemed like Asuka was just kind of, there. And I wouldn't even say it's her fault. More like, I wouldn't even say it's Zelina Vega's fault. I just don't feel like these two mesh well in the ring. They were trying to get like a lot of technical stuff going on where they were just trying to reverse each other's submissions into submissions, but it ultimately ended up with Asuka reversing a pin into a Asuka lock, and she made Zelina Vega tap out. Match itself, I mean, it was cool. It wasn't nothing like, crazy or anything. It wasn't like Sasha Banks and Asuka at SummerSlam when she got that vicious powerbomb off the apron. That was crazy. But after the match, Zelina Vega is in the ring. Asuka celebrating. She sticks her hand out for a handshake. Zelina Vega tries to bow down. Asuka stupidly does this dumb babyface syndrome, bows down with her, and Zelina Vega attacks her. And that was that. So I guess we're going to get more of this or a follow-up on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they do. I would much rather see Asuka versus Mickie James on this, but that was just me. I mean, it's cool. Zelina Vega got an opportunity to show herself. She didn't shit the bed. I can say that. I just wasn't very interested in the match itself. But it seemed like what she did was effective to an extent. But I mean, was the result ever in doubt? It wasn't. So that was that. After that match, we had Apollo Crews versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE United States Championship rematch from, what was the last pay-per-view? What was the last WWE pay-per-view before this? Payback. Lost to that Payback. It was his first title defense on the main show, and he lost. And what happened in this match? He lost again. It was a match. That's the best way to describe it. I mean, they didn't do anything out of the ordinary that they didn't do in their last match. There was a close near fall point towards the end of the match where Apollo Crews just started spamming a bunch of moves on Bobby Lashley. He had like a fucking shooting star press on the ground for a near fall. He tried to go for a frog splash. That didn't work. Then eventually Bobby Lashley caught him with the full Lashley, as they was calling it, but now they're calling it the Hurt Lock. I don't know what they're calling. I guess we'll find out tomorrow on Raw what the official name is. But he ended up hitting them with the Hurt Lock, and Apollo Crews tapped out, so Bobby Lashley retains the U.S. title. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Interesting enough, when Lashley came out, there was no Cedric with the Hurt Business, so now I'm confused as to where's Cedric? Where did Cedric go? You know what I'm saying? Did he just disappear? What's going on with Cedric? But yeah, that's that. So, gosh. After this, we got the Raw Tag Team title match. A match we've seen a million times. A match we're probably going to see more, especially after the finish. Andrade and Angel Garza versus the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This match, it was cool. I mean, it was nothing out the ordinary, like I say, for most of these matches, really. It was a match you see on Raw. It's just that this feud and this match has just gotten to a point where I'm tired of seeing these two. And if this is all Vince wants to show for his tag team division, just combine the titles and just get all of your tag teams on one show. Because if you're just going to act like you don't have tag teams, if you're just going to make tag teams just to break them up within a few months of their run, then you might as well just combine the Raw and the SmackDown tag team titles, because they both don't mean anything. Just make a new undisputed world tag team title and just have it defended on both shows like the women's titles, if you're just not going to use any other tag teams for your tag team titles. It just like hurts the credibility of tag team wrestling. I guess that's why the Revival left. But it's like even now y'all just proving their point, because the Street Profits has been beefing with Andrade and a random partner for a minute. Because if you remember at WrestleMania, the original match was going to be Andrade. It was going to be this exact same match, matter of fact. Andrade and Angel Garza versus Street Profits. But I believe Andrade got hurt or something happened, and he wasn't able to compete. So after that, I don't even remember. I don't know if he caught COVID or if he was just hurt. It was one of the two. But it was like right before he just couldn't do it. So after that happened, it was changed to Austin Theory and Angel Garza. Then they start feuding. Then Andrade came back, but he was more in the singles division because it seemed like Garza had a tag team partner. But then once Andrade lost the title, they just put him in a tag team, and they've been beefing with the Street Profits ever since. And I mean, it was one cool part in this match. Angel Garza hit a Spanish fly on Montez Ford. It looked like pretty scary because I thought Montez Ford was gonna flip before Angel Garza was off the top rope. That could have ended horrible, but I'm glad it didn't. After all of that, there was a botch towards the end because I guess people thought Angel Garza was injured somehow. So it comes down to Andrade and Dawkins, and they just go at it. Dawkins goes for a pin, and the referee counts to 3, even though Andrade clearly kicked out. So he just kept counting, which I guess he was trying to get the match over because they thought, there was something terribly wrong with Angel Garza. So I guess that's why. But it's just like, I don't know. It just kind of was like, whatever. Because I really didn't care about the match itself. I was waiting for it to be over with because it was just like, it just felt like I'm ready to see like new tag teams be implemented and like legit tag teams. But it's whatever. Street Profits won, cool, whatever. After that, we got another women's title match. We got first, before the match even started, Bayley came out to cut a promo. She talks about not having Sasha Banks in her corner. She talks about Nikki Cross not being there, and she pretty much says that now she's doing an open challenge basically. And none other than Asuka shows up. And I was like, oh, man, okay. because Asuka ain't really do much tonight. So I'm like, all right, she want to get her check, so she want to actually go crazy. So they had a match, and Asuka instantly gets in the ring, starts hitting Bayley with German suplexes on the outside, inside the ring, outside the ring. Try to hit her with the Asuka lock, but that didn't work. She hits a hip attack. Bayley barely gets in the offense, and then she hits Asuka with a chair, and Asuka wins by DQ. Whatever. But after that, Sasha Banks comes back, and she attacks Bayley with a chair, kendo stick. Bayley tries to fight back, but eventually Sasha Banks takes advantage, and she gets her music playing, and that was that. So I guess that was a good way to write in the women's title match, even though it was like no more than 5 to 10 minutes of a match. It was probably less than 10 minutes. And for the DQ finish, it's whatever. It's whatever. It was whatever. After that, we got the first of the 2 world title matches. We have an ambulance. My bad. We have an ambulance match for the WWE Championship. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. A lot of people enjoyed this match. From what I've seen on Twitter and just everything, a lot of people had fun with this match. Me? I didn't have fun with this match. This match was overbooked to all hell. It made Drew McIntyre look super fucking weak. He looked like a geek out there. It's already bad enough he doesn't main event the pay-per-views, but then you make it worse by having Big Show, Christian, Shawn Michaels literally help him win a match against Randy Orton. How am I supposed to believe that Drew McIntyre is supposed to be this dominant destroyer of a champion and he can't even defeat Randy Orton? Like, come on, bro. Come on, son. The match itself, it was cool. It went on too long. It felt like watching that Edge and Randy match at Mania. Just took forever. They was fighting. Big Show came out. He put fucking Randy Orton through an announce table. They ended up fighting some more up and down the stage. They fight backstage somehow because it's an ambulance match, not a backstage match. They fight backstage, and none other than Christian attacks Randy Orton because I guess this has all been building up to something. I just didn't think it was building up for a Drew McIntyre match. I thought this was building up for an Edge match, but whatever. And then from there, they start fighting again by the ambulance this time, so they weren't even by the ring. Trading moves. Drew McIntyre gets flipped on a what's that shit called? The ambulance windshield. He gets flipped on that, crashes into that. They fight all over the top of the ambulance before Drew McIntyre ends up at the edge of it, hanging on. Randy Orton knocks him off. And none other than Shawn Michaels shows up and super kicks Randy Orton off of this platform. That happens. It looks like, the numbers on Drew's favor. All you gotta do is put him in there. But nope. Randy Orton hit him with an RKO. He throws Drew into the ambulance. He's about to close the last door before Drew stops him. Puts his finger all up in Randy Orton's eye. Got the corona all up in his hands. And then he ends up hitting Drew McIntyre. He ends up hitting Randy Orton with the Claymore kick. He puts him in there, but before he closes the door, he says, no, I can't just do that. No. Steps back. I thought he was going to go for another Claymore kick, but instead he goes for the punt kick. And he punts Randy Orton's head off. Not literally. He punts his head off, puts him in the ambulance, closes the door, and he retains the WWE Championship. Then after that, they took and then after that, they reveal who's driving the ambulance, none other than Ric Flair. Woo! So after that, they took 30 hours trying to get Drew McIntyre to hold up the title 5 times so they can stretch the time for this main event match between, Roman and Jay. But yeah, that was the match. It is kind of, to me, it was, I feel like they were doing entirely too much for that match. For me personally, they were doing too much for that match. I get that Drew witnessed some of those punt kicks, and I was leading towards his match at SummerSlam, and I get that. That's cool. But it's you can't build this guy as this dominant world champion that's not gonna let anybody take the title from off of him, and then you just have everybody just beat up on Randy Orton and help you win. That doesn't add to your credibility. That adds to literally nobody's credibility, because It's just not how that works. I just felt like that. No, if y'all was gonna do that for a Randy and Edge match, because that's where this all stemmed from. Because you know they're gonna do a trio. They always do trios of matches. Y'all could have did that for WrestleMania or whenever they're supposed to have their third match. You could have waited for that. Because honestly, I don't think nobody was clamoring for a Big Show, Christian, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair return. So you could have just kept it the way it was. But that's just my opinion. After that, we get to the main event. Match of the year, in my opinion. Match of the card, match of the night, match of everything. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the WWE Universal Championship. The story behind this is that these two grew up together. They're first cousins. They're closer than brothers at this point. All this type of stuff. Stuff that they've been telling us for decades, it seems. Because they made like a little faction between him and the Usos when he was going against AJ in the club. So, you know, we've always heard about how close these dudes are, basically. So they made that. But basically, this is a different Roman Reigns. Much more of a heel. He's telling Jay, you're not going to take this title off of me. Our family depends on me having this title. You're not going to have my seat at the head of the table. Yada, yada, yada. Great build, by the way. I love the build for this. This is actually one of my most matches I was looking forward to. It was this match, the ambulance match, and the ladder match, because it's a ladder match. This match, though, great. The pacing, amazing. The storytelling, exquisite. And it did everything that they needed to do to ensure Roman Reigns as a despicable, despisable, whatever you want to call him, heel. Cementing him as a badass heel. Jey Uso came out, made his way to the entrance, had on with the red lei, which is a very important piece to the story. So I'll just say that. Then after that, Roman Reigns comes out. Same music, same everything. I'm like, oh, I love the trolling, because he was just on record saying, I'm coming out with new attire, new music, new everything. So I love the trolling. Came out to the Shield theme song, all that. But my boy Roman came out with no shirt, and Twitter lost it. Twitter act like they have never seen Roman Reigns without a t-shirt before. The man was literally on Instagram posting thirst traps a few weeks ago. Y'all clearly saw him with his shirt off. But Twitter went nuts when he came out. He still got the Shield pants, the boots, all that. That's fine. He still got his gloves, all that. He just doesn't have his shirt. So just imagine the same stuff he's been wearing for years, but just no vest. That's Roman Reigns now. Comes out. Paul Heyman comes out. Start the match. Do the introduction. The match starts. Starts out normally. But what I loved about this match the most was that because there was no crowd, you could hear everything Roman was saying. And throughout this match, whenever he was on offense, he just kept telling Jay, I told you, man, just let me pin you. Let me get this over with. You can get the payday. You can get the payday. You know, I don't even have to do all this to you or whatnot. But Jay insisted. So, you know, it started. Jay tried to get some offense in. Roman was just, reversed everything. Ended up getting on offense. Putting him in different holds, all types of stuff, basically. He even hit a Rough Rider, which, whoa, that caught me off guard. This man, Roman, just jumped up in the air and just connected with the leg drop, and I was like, whoa, this man hit a Rough Rider, yo, that's crazy. He hit that for a near fall. But then once Jay started getting some offense in, hit like an uppercut, he threw Roman into the ring post, hit a bunch of suicide dives on Roman. He's getting the momentum up, he's getting hype. Hits him with a super kick, hits a splash. It was something else he did that was pretty cool. Roman tried to go for a spear, and Jay reversed it into some type of a crucifix, and then that's when he went for the flying oos and connected, only for Roman to kick out at 2. So it was building up. It seemed like Jay is, really, it looks like he's about to win. I guess that's when it pisses off Roman. Because all throughout the match, when Jay was getting offense in and trying to win, it seemed like it was slowly pissing off Roman throughout the match. So it just built up him being upset. And then what was Jay going for? Jay was going for the what Rikishi does, but they just do it more aggressive. I guess you would call it the stink face, but the running stink face, we'll just say that. He tried to go for a running stink face. Roman catches him with a Superman punch, hits him with a spear, doesn't pin him though. Starts talking to him. He was like, no, I'm going to need you to acknowledge me now, King. I'm going to need you to acknowledge me as the chief. We got the family watching, all of that. I'm going to need you to acknowledge this. And he's like, no, no, I'm not doing it. So he just picks my man's up by his face, throws him against the ropes, hits him with another spear. Doesn't stop though. The referee's ready to pin. He's like, nah. He said, you ready? I'm not ready yet. And then, man, he was like, acknowledge me. He just kept wailing on this man. Or no, right before he started wailing on him. There's two things he did. First thing, he went to Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman was like, you're my tribal chief. You know, basically trying to, you know, be more sympathetic towards Jey Uso, who just got murdered with 2 spears. He was like, you're my tribal chief. You're my chief. You are my tribal chief, Roman. All of this, basically. And he's like, no, I don't need to hear that from you. I need to hear that from him. And then the referee, he starts wailing on him, hitting him with forearms, punches, all that. Aggressive, killing his cousin. And the referee looks like he's about to stop the match because, you know, they always do that gimmick, you know, where person gets disqualified for kicking too much ass in a sport where you're supposed to be kicking ass. And he told the ref, he said, look, bro, you've been at this all night. I love this Roman so much because he's talking with so much aggression and anger and like you believe everything he's gonna say. Goes to the ref. He said, look, bro, if you count when I'm not ready, he said I'm gonna knock you in the next week and you're not gonna have a job. So the referee was shook. He ain't do nothing else. He did absolutely nothing else after that. So then he just starts wailing on him again. He's like, acknowledge me as the chief, all that. Then Jimmy Uso comes out limping because, you know, he tore his ACL at WrestleMania, which I didn't know it was at WrestleMania. I thought it was like, you know, a few weeks after. But came out with the towel, beating up all on this man. He's telling, you know, he's about throwing the towel. He's like, let me throw in the towel, Uso. And Jay's telling him, please don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it. It's basically very similar to what Killer Kross was doing to Dominic Dijakovic when he was feuding with Keith Lee for the NXT Championship. He was just kind of beating on him in front and just had to make Keith Lee watch, and just like Roman just made Jimmy Uso watch because he was like, you gonna come in here and acknowledge me as the chief? I need him to acknowledge me as the chief, as he just continues to beat up on him. And then this is the best part. He's holding his brother's hand and Roman just pulls that nigga away from him and just starts wailing on him, elbows after elbows, like he's in the UFC or something. And then Jimmy throws in the towel, and the match ends like that. So Roman retains the title, holds it up. Jimmy's looking at him like, come on, bro, we're a family. What are you doing? He was like, he said, you're the tribal chief. I acknowledge you as a tribal chief. You want it, you got it. And Roman holds up the title with so much aggression in his eyes, tells Paul Heyman to give him the lei. He puts the red lei on. He's officially the tribal chief. The pay-per-view ends with him holding up the Universal Championship with the lei on, and that was just perfect. He killed that man and took his lei, and now he's officially the tribal chief. They got pictures of him with the stuff on, so now they can officially merchandise it, use it in promo packages, everything. That was an amazing match. That was a match that told a story. The pacing was amazing. And then just overall submitting Roman, because before this, Roman didn't have a defiant heel moment. To me, Roman was still a tweener to me. He was slowly becoming a heel just by his demeanor and whatnot, but he didn't do nothing heel related. When he returned to SummerSlam, Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman were both heels. So him attacking heels, that didn't mean nothing to me. I wasn't, whatever. It's The Fiend and Braun Strowman. They both are heels, bro. So for Roman to come back and attack them, people was like, this is the Roman Reigns heel turn. I'm like, what did he do to make this a heel turn? Then what he did at Payback, that was heel related. And I'm like, that could submit him, you know, as a heel or whatever. But it was like, he didn't really do nothing but just kick the Fiend in the nuts. Once again, both of them are heels. He's the face in this match, if anything. You know what I'm saying? But this just solidified him as a heel. And I'm also glad that they had him face one of the Usos, whether it be Jimmy or Jay, whoever was available. I'm glad that they was able to do that, to show that Roman will legit, he will kill anybody to retain his title, even if it's his own family. So if he did that to his cousin, his first cousin, who is like almost like a brother to him, if he did that to him for the title, what makes you think he's not going to do that to you and more for that title? Now that's when the Fiend stuff started getting interesting, because, you know, the Fiend is not human. He's a thing, an abomination. So we can see what he'd do to somebody like that. But it was pretty good. It was a pretty good match. It's I want to know who booked this match, because it sure wasn't the people that booked the rest of these matches on tonight's card. It was totally somebody different. It was probably Paul Heyman. That match was great. I'm not even gonna lie, because it got to a point where even Paul Heyman felt bad for what Roman did to Jimmy Uso, because Jay Uso, because the way Paul is, he's not like with Brock, because he'll watch Brock kill somebody and he'll just let Brock kill somebody. He watched Roman kill somebody and he didn't even want to see him kill nobody. He kept telling Jimmy to throw in the towel. So clearly, this is more like Paul Heyman is being bossed around by Roman, and he hired Roman and all that. So that's actually pretty cool. I'm more interested to see what goes down Friday than I am tomorrow for Raw. So that tells you something, I guess. But overall, this pay-per-view was not shit. Compared to the other pay-per-views that came out this year, this was a pay-per-view. If you take out the first match and the last match, you got whatever pay-per-view. But yeah, Heel Roman 2020. This should be interesting. See where this goes. But anyway, guys, you know what to do. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Do you do to support me? Follow me on all my social media links down in the description below. That includes Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I believe my Twitch is on there. Everything is on there that you can reach me at. Yeah. Wash your hands. You know, I gotta say this because I gotta make sure motherfuckers is listening. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Black Lives Matter all the time. Anyway, guys, I'm out. Peace.